Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to game number 2 between Interitus and Ravens. My name is DKTruman, and I'm once again joined by Znoowy on the mic. Who'll give us a little bit of a rundown what went wrong in game number 1.
It's Dyer's band now.
For Interitus, I would say the admage pick to a certain degree. I think they just had to snowball, or I think they just had to have something more team fight oriented. Because as you also pointed out, like the Void Spirit was literally the only hero. Maybe Undying Tombstone counts as team fight actually, but apart from that, it wasn't much team fight, and they had no way whatsoever to deal with all the pushed-in waves coming from the puck, the timber, and the constant spam of Terrorblade illusions. So hopefully they can address that in game number 2. Because otherwise they're gonna face the same destiny, where they're just sitting behind your towers constantly with an aggressive lineup.
Well, game number 2 draft starts on its way, and we see a DP immediate pickup by Interitus, and Ravens pick up one of the hardest counters to DP in the game, the Shadow Demon. Demonic Purge, like, it's Death Prophet's favorite aspect is the fact that he's fast, he's swift, he runs around the team fight with his exorcism, takes everyone down. Shadow Demon hits him with the disruption, with the Demonic Purge, and DP can't, like, he just doesn't do anything at that point. He's too slow, they kite him around all over the place. It's horrid to play against a Shadow Demon in that case.
Well, they do pick up the Oracle for some D-spells, so now maybe he can move.
No, Demonic Purge can't be removed.
Not even with the Oracle ulti?
I think you can't remove it with anything, because it goes through BKB, you can't remove it with BKB, it's just...
I suppose.
And also, if I'm not mistaken, you can't get rid of Shadow Poison either. You can only get rid of the second spell, the pure damage, like 40% nuke.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. But that also questions the Oracle pick in that case. Because I was under the impression that they picked it just for that reason, but if that doesn't work, maybe either they calculated wrong or didn't do their homework, or maybe they have some other idea here with the Oracle. Because Death Prophet is yes, it's true, the Death Prophet, as long as he just keeps on going, as long as he has some sort of save, like he can definitely play way more aggressive, and he can definitely push towers without feeling at risk at all times. But Oracle is sort of like an all-in hero, like it's best versus burst, while Death Prophet wants long and drawn-out fights. So I feel like there's better options to go alongside the DP. If you want to take a page out of the Gladiators book, you could go for the Lich that they recently played 2 games and were very successful with that Frost Shield 60% damage reduction, which is good versus, or great for tanky strength heroes that takes a while to burst down.
I mean, yeah, I get that, though I don't really see many people going for Lich anymore. Of course, gaming Gladiators is, it's something different, but Lich does not seem to see the light of day, at least in South American region.
Not too much. Well, Omni Knight seems to be the more traditional save.
Even then,
Omni Knight, Shadow Demon
picked up that much.
Yeah, it's a bit odd.
I think Abaddon gets the most picks from, like, the saving hero.
Which one did you say? Shadow Demon?
Abaddon.
Oh, Abaddon. Yeah, I guess that's fair. There's Avenge, there's Bane. I guess that's those. Winter Warren to a certain degree. Dazzle, if you want to count him. But yeah, there's a few options at least. So
I wouldn't go for Wyvern against the Shadow Demon.
No, that's true. Also, it's not that great versus the Tiny. I was just listing a few save heroes.
Yeah, some of them nice, but you know, there's some of them that have just a slight bit of an advantage. Shadow Demon is one of those, of course, because you can use yours defensively and offensively. Very nice with the disruption. So, I just, in general, I despise playing Shadow Demon, but I think it's such a superb hero. It counters an enormous amount of other heroes.
If you get out of the laning stage, you're going to be golden. It's one of those heroes that excels, that has 4 spells that you just want to get to level 4 as soon as possible. His laning stage is definitely where he struggles. It's very difficult for him. And if he's like paired up versus an Abaddon, like there's nothing he can do other than hitting people for like 40 attack damage. So we will see if they opt for Shadow Demon position 4 or Shadow Demon position 5. But another thing about Shadow Demon here as well, like playing into an Oracle, is that you can just disruption. If you're in range, that is. If you can just disrupt whatever hero gets Oracle ulted. Which is quite a good counter. Storm Spirit, okay.
You know, Storm Spirit's always a nice hero to have in the current patch. It just excels very quickly compared to other mid laners. And of course I mean, he's one thing that I always despised about Storm Spirit back in like the olden days was that the hero fell off so completely. Of course the level 25 was great with like cutting creep waves and such, but right now the other one where you get like the multi where it bounces is electric whatchamacallit. It does make the hero so strong in the late game. If you get an Aghanim Scepter, you can wipe an entire team on your own.
Yeah, not sure how well it does versus the DP on in the mid lane. It's probably slightly DP favored, but Storm has the option to go Woods very early on. And Oracle is one of those heroes that hates anything that jumps on him in the backline. Like he has like 0 defense mechanics or defensive spells, unless you want to actually commit to the ulti on yourself. So one of the most typical Oracle counters back in the day was always the Spectre, because you would just pop the ulti and you would just one-shot the Oracle. Problem solved. No save anymore for you. And Storm Spirit sort of operates in a similar way, but you would need some hero to provide vision so that you could actually find this Oracle. And this Nyx Assassin I like a lot.
Superb against the Storm Spirit. Also great against Tiny and Shadow Demon because they have like AoE area effects where you can get them stunned yourselves. You've got the mana burn against Storm, which is also so sublime. That is a hero I just never would have expected to see just yet, especially not into a Kunkka.
Yeah, I agree. I was just about to say, this hero has an atrocious laning stage now, since in the last patch his Wolf's damage was nerfed significantly. And playing into this Kunkka with his Whiplash is not going to be a fun time, if they do indeed opt for this Kunkka in the position 1, which I feel like they should now when they see this Lycan pick. Like you could could you put Lycan in position 1? I guess you could make some lane swaps. Not necessarily sure if he's gonna have a fun time versus DP either though, or whatever position 3 they pick, but the Ravens might be looking to make some lane swap here.
Yeah, it's I mean the one thing that I'm of course thinking, you know, you could always make off lane Lycan with the safe lane Tiny, get that Ags and just go ham.
Yeah, that's true. But Lycan Shadow Demon lane, like that sounds like one of the weakest lanes you could possibly pick.
Shadow Demon 5, possibly.
Yeah, I would hope so. Certainly hope so. Like you can disruption the Nyx Assassin whenever he uses the Carapace, which just keeps him in place and doesn't activate the stun, obviously. I'm not sure if they put like Kunkka and Shadow Demon has a very interesting relationship, because Shadow Demon obviously if he disrupts a teammate, then Kunkka has a perfect setup for his spells, but at the same time, like if Kunkka X marks someone, then Shadow Demon can easily just save them with disruption. So it's sort of like back and forth, and in the end I feel like it sort of favors Shadow Demon. So I feel like Interitus is picking a lot of heroes into this Shadow Demon. Like Oracle, Nyx Assassin, Kunkka, even Death Prophet to a certain degree, like all of them just struggles big time with the Shadow Demon.
10 seconds.
Shadow Demon counters their entire draft. Let's just leave it at that.
But that's normal Shadow Demon.
Is it though? I'm not sure. Like Interitus needs a lot of, like, first of all, they need some sort of solid jump. Like they have no jump. Like this Nyx Assassin is gonna be run around, but he's gonna be facing a Tiny, a Storm Spirit, a Shadow Demon. Like it's very risky. If they have a sentry on the ground, this is gonna end up feeding. And they have no follow-up on his stun, no follow-up on his Vendetta. Like who's he gonna play with? There's nobody so far. They need to pick a final hero that plays around the map and that utilizes the Nyx Assassin. And this Kunkka pick, it's not one of the heroes that benefit from the false promise. Like it's not a Luna with Satanic, it's not a Troll, it's not a Terrorblade you can get a Sunder off. It's nothing like that. Like Kunkka, like it doesn't matter if he lives or dies in a lot of cases as soon as he's used all his combo pieces. This Death Prophet is gonna have to do some heavy lifting, or this last pick from Interitus that we're about to see in 25 seconds.
Banned out the Sven. I mean, they of course expect the Tiny to be a position 4 as it was in the last game, where we saw some very good Tiny performance coming out? Question mark? Okay, the Naga? I mean, they banned the Sven, of course, because they don't want to have an illusion-destroying hero, but... A Naga Siren. It has been a hot minute since I've seen that hero.
10 seconds.
Against a Storm, Tiny, Shadow Demon as well.
5
Yeah, exactly. Shadow Demon can disrupt your illusions when you're pushing on the lane. It's another hero that he does very well against. Like, he fares well versus the Lycan on the lane, and if they want to use this song whenever Lycan presses his ulti, but...
Tiny safe.
Yeah, it's safe. Like, this looks very rough for Interitus. They're gonna have to run over their lanes, but I feel like Ravens have the superior lanes in at least 2 of them.
IO Tiny, classic combo, Shadow Demon Lycan, should be A-okay against the Naga Siren, plus Oracle, to a degree. Storm mid up against the up against the Kunkka is gonna be, honestly, they can definitely kill each other, but I think I rate Nango Flow just in general a little bit higher than Murdoch, and I personally think that this is gonna be a 2-0.
Sure, looks that way. Storm Spirit probably has the edge. Kunkka can get some kills if Storm Spirit were to over commit slightly, but both of them have the option to just go woods whenever they feel like they're forced out of the lane, so both of them should definitely find a lot of farm. I'm mainly concerned about, or mainly going to be focused on this Shadow Demon Lycan lane, how they fare. Like, if the idea is to pull the lane with wolves behind the tower, or whatever they're looking to do, because I don't think that Lycan is able to trade anymore. And obviously Oracle, I do believe, I know that we mentioned it earlier on in the draft, but I do believe that Oracle can dispel the Shadow Demon stacks.
No, you can't. You can't dispel.
You sure?
Yeah, because I know that
Okay.
Abaddon's, like Aphotic Shield doesn't get rid of it either.
Oh,
So you can literally
guess that
keep
would-
stacking it
okay.
onto the Aphotic Shield, onto an Abaddon, which is just absolutely. I think it changed like 3 big batches ago now.
I see.
Yeah, cannot be dispelled.
There you go.
Prepare for battle.
Same with
I guess
Demonic
we-
Purge, cannot be dispelled.
Yeah, I guess you can try and time Fate Edict whenever you think that Shadow Demon is gonna proc it.
Yeah, I mean it is a pretty.
Yeah, it's very far-fetched.
I mean that's the same as like you're playing against a silencer and you predict that you can get the Fortune's End off on time while the silencer pops his ulti. That
Yeah,
there's a
absolutely.
possibility, but is it gonna work? Not really. No.
Oh, look at this though. Shadow Demon walking into a trap.
Okay.
He hasn't skilled anything yet.
Rock, is he gonna go Torrent? Yes, indeed. Dismar, body block comes out. Disruption will get taken down by Pimp for first blood. Did cost the Kunkka Torrent for level 1, which is slightly annoying.
Yeah, I like how Death Prophet held on to his Crypt Swarm that entire time just to get the last hit, and Nyx just snatches it from him. It's like mine.
Well, it's
You're
more
looking to
important
play
on the
Sentry here.
Nyx because he doesn't have any regen right now. So at least now he's sending in a bunch of regen towards that top lane.
I always wanted
That
to
they
see
are?
an ancient fall. Yeah, that's
I mean, I think the Nyx is just gonna be constantly pulling the lane, so that DP isn't forced to last hit versus this Tiny. Like, obviously DP does very well versus Tiny IO because it's percentage-based damage in your Spirit Siphon, but when it comes to last hitting, it can be a bit difficult. Yes, you have the Crypt Swarm to help you, but there's a limit to your mana, so I think Nyx definitely should look to pull as much as possible.
And the attack animation is horrid.
Yeah, agreed. That's why I play Death Prophet position 5, I don't have to worry about the last hits.
Oh, I just don't touch the hero.
It's so broken, this patch. So fun to play. And you have a large AoE silence that actually opens it up for support as well.
Yeah, but the old one was instantaneous. Perfect.
Oh yeah, true.
Murdoch in the mid lane. I mean, it's not great for Kunkka not having whip at the start.
here comes Dyer's plucky little
I agree.
courier.
It's actually really bad for the Kunkka.
I mean, at least you don't have to worry about getting the range creep denied, because that's typically a concern. Like, you're gonna always have to hit the... okay, and now he just did it. Almost. No, but that's one of the things, like, pushing into a storm can be a little bit tricky, and you always want to hit the range creeps 1 or 2 times in the early levels before you whiplash, obviously. Otherwise, you're gonna put it into a deny range.
Well, he is getting himself back on track with the Kunkka. Everything hit under the tower, and most of it has been secured as well. Nengo, though, still up under his own tower. Can he get all those kills? One more, the range creep, that's the big one. There we go. Nonetheless, 1k net with advantage for Interitus.
No, he hit it. Denied.
Aw, sad.
Yeah, you really need to turn it on, or I mean turn it off when those sort of situations appear. You need to secure at least 1 range creep. Or I mean 1 out attack on it, if you're gonna follow up with the torrent. Otherwise you're just gonna follow behind on the experience. Oh, top lane. A little bit of action.
Yeah, but it's rough to kill a DP if he has Spirit Siphons. Right now he needs a little bit more experience to get his second. But he's still in a dangerous position, but of course Tiny is going to go for the old tree grab build, so skill potential should not be too high for the Ravens.
No, certainly not. If this Death Prophet do indeed go down, then that's a misplay for sure.
Meantime, Dismar stacking the jungle nicely. There is a sentry play so that they can't go for ancient stacks, which is actually pretty big.
Yeah, I like that. I think it's underestimated sentry for sure. When you're playing versus these sort of like tiny Medusa lineups that can just clear the tri-stack early on. It's only 50 gold, and it can save your team or prevent the enemy team from at least like 400 gold maybe.
So currently not really much aggression on the side lanes. They look to harass a little bit mid. Nengo versus Murdoch. He does have...
that actually hurts him though a little bit. I mean, yeah, he has 3 tangos and some magic ones, but I would have loved if he used that X mark for TP back to base. I'm not entirely sure where the bottle is. He's not even opting for the bottle, he's going for boots.
He's skipping a bottle on a Kunkka?
Yeah, that's odd. Especially on a lane like this where you need sustain. Like if he's gonna be forced to go jungle early on, like he needs a bottle for sustain.
And Nengo, he's Pimp nearby as well. He's going in for Murdoch. Well, Pimp does have Spike Airpa, so the kill is pretty tough to be made, and Pimp is just making sure that it hurts onto Nengo, but he'll recharge his bottle and be just perfect. In the meantime, top lane, it's solo Tiny versus solo Hijack, so get that free experience going in on the Tiny while everyone has left the lane. And Benja's actually bottom lane is not even struggling as much as I'd expect. He right now has the Helm of the Iron Will. He's close to his Helm of the Dominator as well. So this, yeah, the Lycan's actually having a pretty decent lane.
Yeah, as soon as you get through the first levels and you actually get the Helm of the Dominator, like the Naga doesn't deal a lot of damage. Same goes with the Oracle, obviously. There's no way for them to harass the Lycan out of the lane. So it's very, very passive lanes from both teams. It's very rare that we see a scenario like this where it's like 0 kill potential on any lanes. As soon as level 6 happens though, I believe we should see some kills happen. Probably in the mid lane for the Storm. Or for the Lycan. Can run down the Oracle, for example. I wouldn't have minded 1 level in Ensnare from Naga. Oh, there we go actually.
Top lane, they do get the kill on Takara. A little bit too close to the next assassin. Gets hit by the Impale. Is still a lot of damage, especially with the Crypt Swarm behind it. And now the Death Prophet has some urn charges, which makes that lane a little bit tougher for the IO.
Yeah, it's just nice sustain, really. You can get it to get some extra HP, so you aren't in any danger of getting tiny comboed if you feel like it. And you get some mana regen as well, which is nice. Nyx is stacking the triangle. Unfortunately though, for a hero like Nyx, you can only stack 1 camp at a time. And seeing how there's so many skeletons even blocking one of the Dark Troll summoners, so that stack is not even gonna occur.
That's a lot of skellies. Oh, if you were an alchemist right there.
Yeah.
You'd
He
love
can't
life.
even get out. The Dark Troll Summoner can't even get out. Like, he's trying to get out, but he can't. Like, he has claustrophobia and...
Hera places
Ouch.
a ward, spots that there are stacks at the very least, so that's good information. Of course, can easily be claimed by the Kunkka, but also by the Storm Spirit. They want to give it to the Naga, but there might be a chance that it gets stolen. I mean, you are up against a Tiny with a max level 3 leveling top lane. If he walks towards the nice neutral creep camp stack, he could just...
Oh, this is perfect, by the way. This is really good. Like, Death Prophet is 1 level away, or 1 creep away from level 6. Oh man, and they screw up the execution.
Oh,
Yeah, they screw up the
sidestep,
execution.
and that is a TP wasted.
It was actually a good TP. It just Kunkka could have just shielded for 1 additional second, basically, and that would have been enough for Nyx to get into a position for the stun. Or he could have just run a little bit of in an angle or in a small curve to get the X-Mark off. But yeah, okay, now he wasted it. Maybe they can take the tower with Exorcism at least, make something worthwhile out of it. Let's see if he pops the Exo. Not yet. No, there we go.
Okay, the tier 1
Good boy.
tower will be the target. A stack still on the opposing side. Also a decent stack here for the Ravens, which of course Tiny will want to scoop up soon enough, especially once he gets his Echo Saber finished up. And I was just gonna hug on to him for pretty much the remainder of the game.
Yeah. Okay. Just gonna give up the tower. That's some good early objective takes from side of Interitus.
Bottom lane, same thing though. 50 million Dark Troll Summoner skeletons.
Oh, holy.
Look at that
That's
push.
an army and a half.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen.
Thing gets mowed down in no time. Even the lane creep.
Yeah.
Like, they could double the damage pretty much on melee creeps and range creeps.
It's absolutely ridiculous. In hindsight, though, I don't think that he should have given this tower up to a Lycan with no mana. Like, he didn't even have mana to press the ulti if he wanted to, so I feel like definitely Kunkka should just get down there with his Whiplash if Naga feels too insecure about it. And just defend that tower. Because this just opens up the map a little bit too much for Lycan, at least to my liking. No pun intended. Smoke Gank by Storm and Shadow Demon might find an Oracle. So, constellation price.
Yeah, they should be able to get a nice freebie. And indeed, D-Flash walks up to the high ground, gets blown up. Nengo, in the meantime, is level 9.
There's a TP happening.
So they're going in for a fight. Nengo can pretty much get away. Hijack
They
is
actually have
chasing.
Song.
Yeah, but with Song, what can you really do against the Storm? For the question.
I mean, Kunkka is running over. That's sort
FCR
of
is
like
dead.
what I expected.
And there's the chase from the Lycan as well. Hijack's going to be the next target. Okay, find the Death Prophet. Look for Pimp. Make that 3. What are they doing? I don't really get what their plan was. I mean, DP doesn't have a silence. They do have a net, but Storm is horrible to net. Kunkka wasn't there. Like, that fight made no sense.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I opted for the silent, for the song. I felt like that was the only logical explanation for why they would take that fight. And Kunkka was running over, so maybe the song would have bought enough time at least. Or if anything, at least they could have disengaged from the Lycan ulti. But instead, just opted for nothing.
Ben just continuing his bottom lane push with the Raised Dead army. Go! Look at that. That tier 2 tower is gone in no time.
I mean, they have to identify like what hero can deal with these Dark Troll summoners and just put Kunkka in this lane. He's the only one that can deal with them. Yeah, okay, maybe Naga can as well, mid lane.
Speaking of which, DP in mid does have Exo available. Shadow Poison stacks only the 2. A little bit of harass, but no kill. And Nengo gets his mana nicely regened, of course, by Kara the entire time. But doing all of this, you know, Tiny is just farming up the jungle, has his Echo Saber done. FCR still is second in net worth, but that is also the power of a Naga, which feels like a Naga from all the heroes in the game, I guess, except for Alchemist, probably farms the fastest. But most of the time, it feels like he also needs the most to be able to really do anything in the game.
Yeah, he needs to be ahead. He definitely needs to be ahead at all times. Unless he's having really good matchups. Which isn't the case necessarily this game. I mean, his game is fine, his carry potential is fine, but Tiny with Avalanche and with Tree Grab is easily able to deal with his illusions.
Especially once this shard is finally scooped up at at 15 minutes. And he's going for, obviously, the Silver Edge build.
They had the X, now they missed the torrent.
Bye.
They missed the torrent and they didn't commit the ghost ship. Oh,
What?
now he's using the ghost ship.
Oh, for the Ancients, okay.
Yeah, it makes sense to use it now, but that's a little bit of a missed opportunity. They have Exorcism again, I would assume. I would really like for them to just group up and try and force something happen. Because even though it feels somewhat difficult to be aggressive on the map right now versus a Storm that's level 10 and a Lycan with ultimate, you have to do something. Like, you just have to try, because otherwise you're just gonna lose by doing nothing.
The downside is, if you leave, like, you need to kill off the Lycan. If you leave that bottom lane for a second, he's gonna take down the tier 2, and he's gonna threaten high ground the entire time.
Like, this Naga, or like either Naga needs to be down here and you need to place a ward to defend her, or you need to have Kunkka just constantly just sit down here and just hunt the Lycan. Because right now Lycan is having the time of his life. He's allowed to farm, like, look at him, he's farming 2 camps at the same time with his Dark Troll Summoner. And there's 4 heroes from the Radiant side down here, and he's like, yeah, I'm not afraid of you guys, what are you gonna do to my army?
Yeah, fight
There's
my
like literally
skellies,
nothing
sure.
they can do. They have Vendetta as well, but they have yet to use it this game.
Be a nice catch. I mean, Benja's would be a pretty good kill. Level 10 right now. He's getting very close to his Helm of the Overlord. To be fair, why would you get it once that, considering that Dark Troll Summoner is doing tons of work himself?
Yeah, good question. Like, even if this Nyx uses the Vendetta and this Kunkka lands his entire combo, I don't think it's enough to kill the Lycan at this point. They need a third member or a third teammate.
Oh, zip in. Silence comes out onto FCR, but Nengaflow with the Haste Ruin forces out TP's top lane and just disengages. So that's a nice move. Good bait.
Yeah, force the rotation. Now they know exactly where the supports are, which means that Lycan can feel safe. And they're even setting up now bot lane.
Yep, Murdoch. Silence comes out. He's going to get caught. Didn't get his spells off in time, but no man on Nengaflow. They'd relocate in as well because, I mean, that's pretty much the big problem. You've got a Storm, a Lycan, and an Io in your lineup, so they're going to be jumping all over the place.
Indeed. And you need to recognize that as a core player, like in Kunkka, like when you're 2 supports, you suddenly TP through the top lane, that you are going to be extremely exposed down there at the bot lane. If not for the Storm Spirit, and obviously they relocate. And now I think this Lycan is going to be able to get this tier 2 tower, unless its fortification is up, which it is. It's going to be popped immediately. But he just... And DP goes down in the mid.
I'm more interested in the bottom tier 2 tower. Who cares about the couple of kills that we've seen this game? That bottom tier 2 tower needs to go down. No, Dark Troll Summoner. Oh, he actually gets taken down. But he can take up a nice Ancient Creep for his troubles. And he does get the Ancient Granite Golem for the nice HP percentage aura.
They're fighting in triangle.
D-Flash gets spotted out. Luckily enough, there's no ward. Otherwise, Pimp would be... Okay, there's a ward now. So Pimp get a little bit close to Nengaflow and you die. Speaking of dying, mid lane going in for Dad. He does have... he is pretty tanky, but is he tanky enough? Disruption save comes out. Kara doesn't have a relocate available. He is going to go for the heal onto Dad. Doesn't get his healing off in
and now Storm, no mana.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a whiff. He does even have a regen room bottled up, and that is a very huge double kill coming in from Interitus with immediate tower
take. Can you turn this into anything? We have 30 seconds. Exorcism is still running, but they need more than a tier 1 tower to get back into this game. I don't think they can get it though. Naga is actually looking. This is the right approach, but Io reads the situation and backs out. How did they get this tier 1 tower though? Like they're even struggling to get it.
Dismar spamming. Pimp taking a lot of damage. Running away. But yeah, they do manage to take the tower. I actually, like, FCR on that Naga is going for a very interesting build. He went Manta style. The next item is going to be the Ag so that he can ensnare people while they are magic immune or sleeping.
Oh.
Is superb against a Tiny or a Lycan for that matter.
True that. I was just thinking if they saw Oracle up here on the top lane, on this top ward. I feel like they do. So it would be quite a good relocate opportunity, I feel, to try and bring this Naga down.
Dire's top tower is about to be Radiant's top rubble.
Nick spots this rotation out at least. They have an Orchid on Kunkka. They're gonna opt for this kill. I think they have the damage.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Well, Nengo gets caught out again. The Storm, his second death. There is a rotation coming in. Benjas is nearby, but they need more. They need definitely the Tiny if they want to take any engagement for the foreseeable future. And it's only a 2k net with lead. It dwindled pretty quickly from 5 to 3, from 2.
Yeah, I thought this game was already over, but all of a sudden here we are. Okay, it's back to 3k at least. This Nyx Assassin has almost 2k gold and he's opting for a Blink Dagger, which is quite a question mark to me. I don't necessarily see what he's gonna do.
Well, he's gonna try and help out his teammates. Murdoch, lift up in the sky, is gonna get smacked down. No TP rotations coming in from the rest of the team. That's gonna be the tier 2 tower gone as well. Bimp on the run, does have Spike Carapace, should keep him alive for a little bit longer, but can he get away? No way, Jose. Good.
They can keep pushing.
Yeah, the creeps are the creeps are not there yet, though. So back to protection comes in.
Oh, okay. I think you still, yeah, you can chill here for a little bit, just force some rotations. You need to be careful though about the song. Like if this Naga teleports and uses song, yeah, okay, they're gonna fall back. They're gonna 40. No, they're gonna stay. Actually, they have vision up on the top lane on the Naga, so they see if she TPs. I think that's the reason for why they're so confident.
That's just a straight up tier 3 gone. Okay, thank you very much.
It's good recognition. Like they kept track on the Naga and just made sure that she didn't TP to put up the song. Because you don't want to take a team fight right there when you like an ultimate is off cooldown.
Lycan, he's getting himself the Ags next, which means you're going to have a terrifyingly dangerous Tiny running around the team fight with an Iowa at the same movement speed hunting after him.
There's a DD bottom now as well. I haven't quite spotted it. I wonder if they're going to give it to Tiny and go for Roche, or if he's just going to bottle it up. He wants it.
Oh, Kara needs to be careful. Gets Orchid did, but there is an army nearby. X Mark looking for the IO kill would be a pretty nice one. Ghost Ship gets thrown out, does not connect. The IO is still alive. Disruption save comes in. They're going to go for the backline. Dad with the right clicks onto FCR. Does he get the song off in time? The toss up in the sky. FCR gets taken down. No song coming through. Hijack 3 poison stacks. And is also just straight up dead. Murdoch into the Roche bit with another TP attempt. He will be able to disengage, but that is going to be the Aegis secured. And Ravens just all of a sudden, they came with a very, like, Kara played the perfect distraction. They came in from behind and they just completely surprised everyone.
Yeah, it was a good flank from them, playing with superior vision, obviously having wards in the enemy triangle already by that point, but I also can't stress enough how much this Naga needs to press his ultimate. Like, it's somewhat similar to Underlord's ultimate in a sense, or the former Underlord ultimate I should sense, you know, the Uber taxi. And that was a thing, like you could just push or press it, and then you could just cancel it if you didn't want it to happen, because it has some delay. I feel like the Naga ultimate is very similar in that sense. You can just use it, and then you can just be like, okay, do we want to continue going at this pace, or do we want to regroup and focus down someone else? But Naga is just never using it, and he's just being combo down. Second teamfight in a row it happens. He just needs to press it, and then ask questions later.
Well, let's see if they can get it done here and get themselves back in the game, because the Naga is falling off behind the Tiny, not where you want to be. Does have his Ags now done, which means Song of the Siren, you know, does have a bit more use, because you can ensnare people.
Maybe now we will finally see it. Let's hope so. I guess it's a Storm Spirit that needs to watch out, mainly.
Well, he does have his BKB now done, so you also I mean, you can root someone in his BKB, but still, it's pretty hard to hit. And you, of course, you know, if you root him during Song of the Siren, he pops BKB, flies away.
Yeah. It's rough. Just gonna have to keep trying to push lanes, but the wards from the dire side is perfect at this stage, and they even have one deep inside. Oh, Oracle just finds it, one deep inside the enemy base. So they have full information at all times. They know exactly what they're up against and at what time. Did Nyx complete this? No, yeah, okay. He opted away from the Blink Dagger. I like that choice at least, because I don't really see what the Blink Dagger was supposed to accomplish.
Well, there is the immediate smackdown of all the buildings here. Dad walking up the high ground. And how can they defend it? Murdoch's gonna go for the TP back to base.
Yeah, he's gonna flank on the Naga. He's gonna pop his illusions in the back, and never mind. He's gonna run into the base.
Well, Dad doesn't fear anything. He's got the ages anyway, and it's just mowing down everything. Sure. No one's actually going in on him. He gets a free tier 3. FCR's on the side. Does get the route onto Benjas, who pops his shapeshift in the process. Ghost ship comes flying out. Zip on the backline, trying to get the Oracle, but he's just running around. Nengaflow is keeping them distracted. Full set of racks picked up. Nothing has been done in that engagement in the meantime. Hijack's going to be jumped and smacked down. Relocate sends the Nengaflow with the BKB. And he will be rooted in the process, taking a lot of damage. But look at that turnaround from Dad, coming in with the real hurt. Song of the Siren gets used. Keep them at bay, but I mean, he still has the age. They haven't lost anyone on the side of Ravens. What can you even gain here?
His middle tower looks to be disintegrating.
Silver
Well,
Edge,
you're gonna have to
run away.
chase, try and get something. Another ensnare.
There's no relocate though.
Yeah, Exorcism is still running for a few more seconds. But this Naga needs to... I'm not necessarily sure if he can man up, but he needs to do something.
They'll just walk away. Sure.
Yeah,
Full set of
it
racks
just
picked
feels
up.
feels like Naga can't do anything in the team fight. Like, he can't get close to this Tiny. And this was a last pick Naga into the Tiny. And he just... I don't know. Can't do anything to him. It's very unfortunate and very difficult for the Radiant team to play Dota right now. There's a DD here. It's going to be scouted out by someone. Actually by both teams at the same time. But it doesn't seem like Naga is even interested in going over to grab it. Now he's looking.
Oh, gets the root off on the Shadow Demon. ED gets picked up by Murdoch on the Kunkka,
okay.
going for the whip damage, but on the side they already get rid of Hijack. Just so incredibly scary with that Silver Edge. In
Run,
comes the
Forrest.
Lycan Bite. Nom Nom going for FCR. Doesn't have the song available. FCR is going to get jumped. They do keep Dad at bay for a second longer. They stun him up nicely. It's a good job at FCR. How long can he stay alive? Not long enough. Looking for the death ball. D-Flash. Run away. Keep them distracted while the rest of my team gets out of there. But they don't even have a single buyback on the side of the Radiant team available to them. So they can just push up the high ground and get megas.
Yeah, rough. Taking like, they're desperate, obviously, so they're just hoping for something, anything at all. But taking a fight in the mid-river when you're down 15k and you don't have a single ultimate up, that's rough. And here's the tiny raid boss, slicing your buildings in 4 hits.
I mean, what does the Ags really do on Naga? Like, I
Not
get
much.
it. That's kind of like the only build I ever see on Naga these days. But still, that's also the reason why the hero doesn't
Yeah,
really
I
get
think the
any
question
play.
should just come back to, rather than the build, should just come back to why do you last pick this hero into a tiny? Like, what was the plan? To have some sick song into Kunkka boat? You already
Exo
have
on
plenty
top,
of setup for that.
on a DP who is currently less net worth than Shadow Demon. Almost behind an IO. That's a very sad DP game. Like, he's got BKB, that's it.
Yeah, it's a BKB rush.
24
Like-
minutes in.
Oh, they're falling for the bait. They're using Exorcism.
Yeah, that's right there. You give a couple of those nice tips. BM.
Yeah.
Notions coming out, still going in onto Hijack and the gang. Oh my lord, they just evaporated. Gotta love to watch the tiny shapeshift actually work out. There's a lot of the time you see that combo coming through with the Lycan Tiny and it, you know, they get absolutely annihilated for some reason. This time around, though, it does seem to be advantageous. Mowing down all the buildings, even as the moonshot for the extra attack speed. FCR, root onto Dismar. What does it do? Nothing, because your entire team is already dead. Zip onto D-Flash. Aghanim Scepter from Nango coming through as well. Add insult to injury. Murdoch on the retreat, and that is it. That is going to be Ravens taking the series 2-0.
GG.
And
Yeah, I guess we go back to the drawing table
Yeah.
for that one. At least for our Radiant friends. I think the draft was questionable. Not just on one level, but a few. And also the play is very questionable as well. Ravens, on the other hand, played fairly well. Like, draft in both games where like, I have no real comments or no negative comments necessarily. and they executed it well. Lycan knowing his role, knowing how to farm and farm patterns, pressuring objectives, and yeah, just seemed like the very solid